So hey guys, so welcome back here to another video. So today I'm going to be running a very spicy ABC team, which is Skeledirge, Cradily and Poliwrath. It was ranked number 1 on the PV Poke of Great League section. But now I'm going to be using this team in the Ultra League just to see how strong it is, because it did really well for me in the Great League. But it took a lot of starters as well in order to power up my Cradily all the way to level 50. But it's still fine. I'm going to be showcasing some battles with it. So hopping onto the first one, we have Skeledirge on the lead versus the Cursalia. Now this is a very positive matchup for us, because Skeledirge with the Shadow Ball and Incinerate damage is gonna obviously outpace the Cursalia. And Cursalia, if it has Future Sight, it's gonna fight back with the neutral advantage, but I think they go for the Moonblast, so they're gonna have Grass Knot and Moonblast, so which both are resisted. Psycho Cut is a fast move which is not to be afraid of, because it's a one-turn charge move and it is not much devastating. Now, I thought of committing to the farm down, but I realized that the Cursalia is very much bulky and can get to another Moonblast. So Moonblast actually got my Skeledirge around 70%. Now, you have to see what your opponent does or not. They are not swapping out of the Cursalia matchup, so I think they are weak to Skeledirge in the back. They actually come in with a Charizard. Now, we can apply some lot of neutral pressure with the Shadow Ball here against the Charizard, and we do grab the first shield. I'm gonna swap straight away onto the Cradily of the Rock Slide damage. It's gonna obviously one-shot the Charizard even from full health. So Blast Burn is gonna land. It's not enough to take me down, and they swap out into a Armored Mewtwo. Now this is really good in terms of having Poliwrath on the back. If I had swapped a Poliwrath onto the Charizard, I guess I was getting hard countered by the Armored Mewtwo. But here Cradily can hang on and get to another Rock Slide if they actually commit to the farm down. And this is really good because we have two shields, and at the same time we also have the Skeledirge. Now they do decide to throw their Side Strike, knowing that I could get to a Rock Slide or another Grass Knot. So I'm going to come in with the Skeledirge because I want to just get rid of this Mewtwo. I throw the Disarming Voice, and I guess they decide to let it go here. And I think it's a good game already, because Poliwrath here with 2-1 shield against a Charizard, I think it's going to take it, because Scald and Icy Wind are really good, to be honest. So Dragon Claw is going to come through. I'm going to just get the shield. So Scald is going to come back once again. So I think it's going to get the final shield from my opponent, but it's still a good game, because I'm going to show you how much a Blast Burn does after the Scald debuff. See, we are almost at the half a health right now, but just look at the amount of Blast Burn damage. It's not to threaten a shield, right? And my Poliwrath as well, mentioning that it's a rank 1 Ultra League Poliwrath. I got it from the community day, and Cradily as well, I got it from the Fossil Cup, and this is the only Skeledirge I have that I've built for the Ultra League. So it's going to be good. Hopping on to the second one, we have Skeledirge versus the Muck. Now, Muck do has access to Dark Bolts, so Shadow Ball is going to apply for a lot of neutral damage. So we're going to see what's going to happen. We do grab the first shield. I swap into the Cradily hoping to catch a charge move, but eventually my opponent throws the charge move. I think it's a Dark Pulse. Yes, it's not a lot of neutral damage for sure, but Venusaur is going to go ahead and come in. And Venusaur needs to throw its energy, because these Rock Slides are typically going to add up because of the lot of neutral damage here from the Cradily. So Rock Slide is going to come in, and it's going to be in clutch. So Rock Slide is going to land onto the Venusaur, and they do decide to throw their energy. So this is hopefully fine for me, because I can come in with the Skeledirge, just double tap this Venusaur down to its ashes, and I'm going to just praying that there is something hard countering the Poliwrath, like an Ampharos or something like that, but we can still fight. We are ahead on the shields. They do bring in a Swampert, so I'm gonna just come in straight away with the Poliwrath, and they're not swapping out, because they know that they can't come in straight away with the Muck. They need to land an Earthquake, which they do, and they need to come in, but they stay in for too much long, and I got to the Scald in time, and I'm gonna shoot it off, and I don't get a shield as well, but we got the Swampert pretty low. So now it's a really interesting race. The Muck do get to the Thunder Punch in time, but I want to get off that Icy Wind, but I thought, no, I want to give Skeledirge the chance to actually sweep this game. Disarming Voice, even though it's not very effective, from this range, I guess it is hopefully threatening enough to grab a shield, and I have both ready to go. So they do decide to let it go. So now I have a very interesting decision to make. I go for the farm down, and I do get the farm down. And now the Swampert decides to come back in. So Swampert needs to make it to the double Hydro Cannon, or they need to just commit to the shield. But I don't know why I got to the disarming voice there, but unfortunately it didn't register. So hopefully I lost because of some lag issues out there, but it's still fine. We could have easily took that game. So once again we have Skeledirge. This time not a good lead against the Tapu Fini at all. So I'm gonna swap into the Poliwrath and we do draw out a Galvantula. Now hard lead loss and we're hard countered on the safe switch as well. But you're gonna see how strong Poliwrath is actually right now and how the IVs is gonna come into clutch. So I'm gonna throw off this Scald. Scald is gonna get the attack debuff onto the Galvantula. Now Galvantula decides to actually go for the complete farm down, but we make it to the Icy Wind in time. Now this is absolutely clutch because now we got the switch advantage and the Tapu Fini comes back in, and now I can align my Cradily back to the Tapu Fini in order to do some super effective damage. Surf is not threatening a shield here because it's gonna just do neutral damage because of the rock typing there. And they have the Galarian Stunfisk in the back, which is absolutely fine because Incinerate is absolutely adding up, and we also are winning CMP tie against the Galarian Stunfisk. So really good. Poliwrath absolutely getting the switch advantage against the Galvantula was really, really huge for us. And now the Rock Slide is going to come through. I'm going to go ahead and give up a shield on that. It's okay. I want to make sure that this Stunfisk is completely low on health. So I'm going to shoot off a Disarming Voice. We do get 2 shields from the opponent. And now it's very important. Now I'm going to go ahead and shield. It's an Earthquake. Fortunately. But we got the Stunfisk pretty low. I guess they get to another Earthquake in time. Is this Rock Slide? No, they do get to the Earthquake in time, which is pretty crucial. And now I'm going to swap onto the Cradily once again. And we have a lot of energy. And I guess a Grass Knot and a Rock Slide will do it. Remember, the Tapu Fini just dumped its Surf onto the Cradily. But I still do not want to actually stay in this matchup for long enough because Water Gun just adds up. And now I think from this range, even an Earthquake is not able to take me down. And I do have the Grass Knot, and we do win the CMP tie against the Galarian Stunfisk. So that's a really good game from my opponent. I think Poliwrath should get the MVP in this match because it flipped that matchup and we aligned our Cradily to the Tapu Fini. That was the whole goal there. So really good game to my opponent as well. So hopping on to the next one, we have Skeledirge versus Giratina Altered. Now this is a very, very interesting matchup for sure because we can hit for super effective damage with the Shadow Ball as well as Disarming Voice. But our fast move is resisted against the Giratina Altered. We do land the Shadow Ball, which is perfectly fine. So I decided to swap out because Shadow Claw were adding up and I did not want my Skeledirge to get absolutely low. So Dragon Claw is going to come through and they swap into their own Poliwrath, which is absolutely fine by me. So I'm going to go first for the Icy Wind because I want to apply the debuff straight away onto my opponent because I can survive a little bit longer. And since my Poliwrath is a rank 1 Poliwrath, still does a lot of damage. You're going to see what it's going to put out. So they're going to throw their Icy Wind, and now from this range I'm going to go for Scalds. So Scald is going to apply that, again, neutral damage and also has the ability to lower the attack of the opponent, and we do get that. So I think Poliwrath is very, very busted in the Open Ultra League as well as the Great League. They're going to go ahead and throw the Scald, which is actually not enough to take me down. I go for another Scald. I know this is not enough to take it out, but it gets them incredibly low where I can come in with my Skeledirge and get an Incinerate for free. So that's what I'm going to just do here. So I'm going to cut back in the Skeledirge. This is not enough energy for the Scald, so I decided to no shield here. And obviously it's just an Icy Wind. So they're going to come in with the Talonflame. And now I'm a little bit concerned because Talonflames, with access to fly, I'm going to go ahead and shield, but it was just a flame charge. So, and they're going to swap onto the Giratina Altered. I'm fine living Giratina Altered. And now here I make a critical mistake. I should have overloaded a little bit more on energy here, and then I should have thrown the Rock Slide. Because now what you're going to see is the Talonflame is going to come back in. Yes, they're going to get the Incinerate through. We're going to get the Rock Slide as well. We're going to get the first shield for sure. But here my charge move timing is very, very important. I'm letting it go. I'm letting it go because it's just a flame charge, and it is a flame charge. Fine. But now it's very important. We do grab 2 shields from the opponent. And here's what the mistake I make. I come in with the Skeledirge and I CMP tied with the Talonflame. Now this is very huge. And I even give up a shield. It was just another flame charge. So now I'm in a very critical spot because this Talonflame is winning CMP tie against my Skeledirge. and the Shadow Ball is not actually enough to take it down because of its non-stab abilities. Now, I do lose the CMP time, just gonna go down for the fly. So really good game by my opponent. I think I could have overloaded a little bit more on the Cradily against the Giratina Altered, but it wouldn't have mattered anyways. We would lose CMP tie anyway. So hopping on to the next one, we have Alolan Muck versus Skeledirge. So I'm gonna swap straight away onto the Poliwrath, and we draw out a Virizion. Now, interesting about Poliwrath is that Poliwrath with Icy Wind debuff is one of the monster threat you're gonna see, because this Icy Wind is gonna hit for super effective damage against the Virizion, and it cannot farm me down, and it cannot even get too much of energy as well, because if I make to another Icy Wind, it's gonna give me the switch for sure. So Leaf Blade is gonna take me down. I'm okay, we have already applied the debuff, and Skeledirge is gonna get a nice little farm down. And remember, the Alolan Muck which is about to come in is very important to know, because we are ahead on energy, and Skeledirge with ahead on energy does incredibly well against all the meta because of its ability to hit for neutral damages with Disarming Voice and Shadow Ball. And now the Disarming Voice is gonna do neutral damage because of the Dark Poison typing there on the Alolan Muck, and Incinerates as well. It's adding up a little bit, and another Disarming Voice is gonna come through. I think they decide to shield here. No, I think it's another game. So now the Incinerate is going to go through. I'm going to go ahead and shield, because from this range they are not in a position where they could get to 2 Dark Pulses, and there's a Swampert in the back. And I'm going to swap straight away onto the Cradily, and I know it's just a good game because Earthquake, Hydro Cannon, it's going to hit for neutral for sure because of the rock typing. But Cradily here can absolutely grab 2 shields. I actually go for the Rock Slide just to bait the Swampert. I'm going for the Grass Knot, and we do get a shield, which is absolutely fine. Now I'm going to go for the Grass Knot, but eventually I lost the CMP tag against the Swampert. So I'm going to go ahead and shield it, which is fine. And the Grass Knot here is likely enough damage. Not enough, it's a massive overkill, but we do grab the second shield. Now the Swampert really needs to throw its energy, or else I'm going to get to the Rock Slide. I can't get to the Grass Knot because I CMP tie it. So I get to the Rock Slide and get it eventually low. Now an Hydro Cannon is going to take me out, but it's out of energy as well. So it's kind of a win-win situation. And even though I think they know it already, because I incinerated down and Disarming Voice the Alolan Muck down there. It's a good game. So hopping on to the next one, we have obviously the Skeledirge on the lead versus okay, we got Skeledirge on the lead versus a Dragonite. Now this is a very something to know that this is a critical mistake of staying in at the first place. Let me tell you that, because Disarming Voice, even though it does an incredible amount of super effective damage against the Dragonite, and we do grab a shield as well, I should actually swap into Poliwrath here. The reason being, Incinerate damage is not actually doing quite a bit, but the Dragon Breath, the raw pressure from the Dragonite here is absolutely adding up, and I swap onto the Poliwrath here, and we do draw out a Golisopod. Now, Golisopod do win CMP tie against the Poliwrath, but I'm not in a situation to shield here because I need to save shields for the Shadow Dragonite in the back for sure, because it's going to be hitting like a truck with super power as well as with the Dragon Claw. I'm going to go ahead and throw the Skull, and we do get the attack debuff. This is massive for us, because now what's going to happen is, if it's a release, I can actually live it. Yep, perfectly fine. So now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to come in with the Cradily, I guess. I'm going to come in with the Cradily, and I commit to the farm down, because since we got an attack debuff on the Golisopod, so the Liquidation and Aerial Ace both are neutral damage, and both are not threaten shield as well. So I'm going to be very concerned about this, and they actually come in with the Dragonite. No, they actually come in with Tapu Fini, and they actually catch the Grass Knot onto the Dragonite. Now this is high level gameplay from my opponent, making sure that they come in with the Tapu Fini and forcing me to throw the Grass Knot, and I just delivered them back. So I just swapped my Skeledirge in order to cast the Dragon Claw, but now I need to be very careful, because I need to throw this rock slide as soon as possible, because I don't want this Dragonite to get to a Dragon Claw or a superpower and creating a havoc around my Cradily. And at the same time, I need to be very concerned about Tapu Fini as well. Surf is something which is going to be doing a respectable amount of damage from this range, and I need to do is I need to get to a grass knot and I need to get to a rock slide in order to take down the Tapu Fini. It's gonna be close, but you're gonna see that Cradily actually does get to it. So little bit it got really dicey in the end, where the Dragonite caught the grass knot, but we eventually do come back and win that game with our sack swap of Skeledirge. So that's really good game. But you're gonna see another game where we actually lose against the Shadow Dragonite. So yeah, so Skeledirge versus the Guzzlord. Now Guzzlord matchups as well. We do super effective with the disarming voice for sure, but at the same time they can hit for super effective with the brutal swing as well. And these Dragon Tails are literally adding up a little bit. And I'm gonna go ahead and shield the brutal swing. And here I make another critical mistake. I should have swapped onto the Poliwrath to do a peekaboo, smaller little counters, but I instantly realized that I over tapped on the Skeledirge, and now I need to give up 2 shields. And I even come in with the Poliwrath only to know that I didn't get the counter down, farm down. So now this is a very interesting decision. I do get to the Scald in time before the Tentacruel does. And I believe I do win CMP against the Tentacruel. We do get the attack debuff. This is hopefully just an acid spray because of the number of poison zaps they did. It is just an acid spray. And now I'm going to be going for another Scald. And once again, we do get the CMP tie off, which is nice. Now Scald is going to come through. And but this time we did not get any type of attack debuff. We already got this Tentacruel pretty low on health. Now acid spray is going to come down to the wire. I'm going to swap onto the Skeledirge in order to just make a interesting swap. And disarming voice 2 grabs a shield. They actually wanted to catch that on the Guzzlord, but they failed, and we take down the Guzzlord completely. And now I realize when they actually come in with a Tentacruel, I guess they're weak to Skeledirge in the back. And I thought that I have just given my hardest counter for the just for a bait. Now this is very important. Rock slide is going to come through. We're going to take down the Tentacruel, and in the back is a defense from Deoxys. Now I realize why they're really shielding the Tentacruel and wanting to take my Skeledirge out of the equation. Now this is really tough because Deoxys, oh man, this is so tough. Hopefully we do get to the Icy Wind, and hopefully there was a CMP tie as well. Icy Wind is going to go through, and we do get the attack debuff, which is completely crucial in this situation because counter damage is going to just add up, and Cradily here needs to get to at least 3 rock slides, ladies and gentlemen. 3 rock slides. It is possible, but Deoxys is just so bulky, man. And I was not expecting a Deoxys in the back for sure. Because always I see Deoxys in the lead, not as a safe swap for sure, but as a closer I'm seeing it for the first time. And Psycho Boost is not able to KO, but they have back-to-back ready to go. So that was, I think, not a good team read from my end, and I should have stayed in with my Skeledirge or the Poliwrath. That was a good game. I think we had a win con, and I just throw a towel at it. It's fine. Now this time we do see another Alolan Muck on the lead. So this is once again pretty interesting. But hopefully last time around Alolan Muck swapped out. But here they're staying in and they go for an acid spray, which is completely fine. They do bring in the Giratina altered. Okay. Now Alolan Muck and Giratina altered are on the field. So what could be hopefully in the back is the only question what we have right now. But it's still fine. We're going to find out. We already have something which is very weak to ice type moves because I think they have a fighter in the back, something like a Poliwrath itself. That's what my guess is. So they're going to throw away the Dragon Claw, which is fine. I'm going to be coming in with the Skeledirge once again. I think they do have Shadow Sneak here. As far as I remember, I think they do have Shadow Sneak. Now what I'm going to do is, I was committed to the farm down in my head. But unfortunately, this Giratina actually gets to another Shadow Sneak, and it's actually a lot of damage, and they're doing a lot of damage with the Shadow Claw as well. So I go for the Disarming Voice, and I do draw out the Muck back. I'm going to go for another Disarming Voice, which is completely fine. I'm going to make sure that this Muck is incredibly low, and we do grab a shield. Now it actually makes me think that, wait a minute, I think they're weak to Skeledirge in the back. So what I'm going to do here is, I'm gonna throw the disarming voice and I'm gonna bail out straight away into the Cradily, and they do have a Scrafty. So this is the reason they wanted to bail out. And now it makes me very tough because the Alolan Mug did not dump its energy, and I have completely lost track of how much energy it actually has. They go for the power up punch, which is completely fine. I still have 2 shields. They do not have any shields. All I hope is that this really actually gets to another um, grass knot or something, a rock slide in time. But we unfortunately get farmed down. But hopefully for me, Skeledirge actually um, gets the incinerate farm down, and I do have a disarming voice ready to go. And this is a mistake what I did. I shouldn't have thrown straight away. I should have gone for an incinerate and then should have thrown the disarming voice, because now I need to make a ridiculous decision that it's a dark pulse or an acid spray. But they do go for an acid spray and they have the dark pulse ready to go. So really a big mix up in the end. We could have won, but unfortunately we lose. So there were some wins, there were some losses, but eventually those losses can be overcome by a victory. I'm gonna see you in the next video.